Welcome to today's Yin Yang flow. For those who know my Yin Yang flows, you guys know these are one of my favorite. I think I have sort of a love affair with Yin Yoga, and I love to teach Yin Yang because I feel like it speaks to a wider audience. And today's class is especially to balance or to focus and reflect on balancing out the yin and yang energies. Yin energy is a more passive, inward, a little more grounding, downward energy, while yang energy is more upbeat, more energizing, outward energy. And I believe we tend to sometimes get out of balance with these two energies with the world that we live in. It's hard to really balance out these energies in our day-to-day. So with this class, I want us to take a second and sort of bring awareness to see in what parts you feel a little more identified with, maybe because you need that yin energy, or maybe because it's what you thrive on and it's what you're already used to. And with that, sort of reflect upon our own lives, what we need to bring into more to our daily life. So as usual, we're going to start with more yang energy and more upbeat to warm up the body, and end up with a yin practice. So make this a time to reflect and a time for yourself, a gift towards yourself to then take off the mat. So we're going to start in Sukhasana, shins crossed around the mid-shin, bringing our hands next to our torso and just taking a couple deep breaths before we start. Connecting our mind and body through the breath and letting ourselves leave the external world behind or in the future and just be here, present on our mat with ourselves and our practice. On the next inhale, lift the arms up and around, bringing the palms of the hands together, and on the exhale, bringing the hands in front of the heart. Just like that, a couple more times at your own pace. Two more, inhaling, arms up. On the exhale, hands in front of the heart. Last one, we're going to stay with our arms up, grabbing opposite elbows, twisting over towards the right, keeping the crown of the head long. So by not pressing the hand behind us, we're a little more aware of all the engagement of the upper back muscles that are needed to really twist through the mid-back. And coming back through center, releasing the hands, placing the right hand onto the mat, lengthening the left arm over towards the right. Maybe coming onto the forearm if it's available, if not, just bending the arm as you please. Looking up. And coming back through center, walking your hands forward, folding over your legs. Crown of the head lengthens as the sits bones ground. And all these qualities of yin yang are found in all elements of life. So even here, where it should be an active pose, there's an element of yin as well. So trying to find the balance even within the active poses, and walking your hands back in. Switching legs, taking the right leg back, left leg forward. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, twist over towards the left. So again, as you're lengthening through the crown of the head, engaging the upper back muscles to twist, There's a grounding sensation through the legs. So it's all about balancing the yin-yang in all aspects of life. Through the hectic parts of life, also finding those yin qualities. And coming back through center, releasing the hands, taking the left arm towards the left, reaching the right arm towards the left. So these are different types of stretches and yin stretches, right? They're active, there's engagement of the body, there's lifting rather than passive and grounding. And coming back through center, walking your hands forward, folding over your legs. And coming back up through center, placing your hands in front of you, we'll meet in a tabletop position. Hands under our shoulders, knees hip width apart, coming through a couple rounds of cat-cows. And as you begin to realize what quality of you need more in your life, you can begin with that awareness. You can begin to incorporate those qualities in daily activities. That doesn't mean you have to change your upbeat life, but it means that you bring those certain qualities to those upbeat activities. Last one, coming back through center, stepping back, downward facing dog. Reaching through the sits bones up, shifting forward, plank pose. Hold the plank. Reaching the crown of the head forward. Upper back is rounding, sort of coming into like this angry cat upper back. Tailbone reaches back, hold. And lower all the way down towards the belly. Placing your hands towards the corners of the mat. Depending how deep you want the back bend, you'll move the hands around. Pushing your arms up, super cobra. This is sort of a made up name, but I like this name. So hands as out as feels best for your back. Always lengthening that tailbone to not crunch the lower back. And now you can move in a dynamic way, bending one elbow, looking over the opposite, and sort of switch from side to side. And we'll meet back again through center. Both arms are long, lowering all the way down onto our belly, finding our way back into downward facing dog. Separating your feet wider than hip width. Walking your hands back towards your feet. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, fold forward, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Walking towards the front of the mat. We're going to do a couple dynamic movements from here. So finding a grounding position, stable position, maybe feet hip width apart. You're going to take your arms both in front of you. Palms of the hands are facing each other. Hip bones are going to face forward. As you imagine you were pulling a bow and arrow. And you're going to grab the arrow with the bow, or the arrow, I don't know, with the right hand, pulling it back. Taking the right arm back, both hip bones are facing forward, lengthening the arm back, and dropping it back again to meet with the left. Switching towards the other side, pulling back with the left arm, twisting through the mid-back, lengthening the left arm back, and drop to meet with the right. Continue at your own pace. We're going to do a couple more. Remember to breathe and find the qualities to balance out the yin-yang. The breath is always a good indicator of what's missing, what's out of balance. We're going to do one more on each side. And release down, both arms next to the torso. Inhale, Utkatasana chair pose, either knees hip width apart or feet together. Arms long along the ears, hold here. Lowering the hips a little lower. Interlacing your hands behind you, taking those shoulders back and around. Opening the chest, keeping the hips low. And fold forward, letting the hands hang overhead. Releasing the shoulders. And letting go of the hands, taking them next to the feet. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. So as we begin to build the fire, the outward part of class, energized part of class, we're going to start doing more dynamic sequences. Remember to always come back to that grounding. So we're going to take 3 Surya Namaskar A's. Feel free to do it at your own pace. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, step or hop back, plank or chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. And on the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. 2 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, reaching down. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, step or float back. Three breaths in your down dog. And bend your knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Coming all the way up to standing, hands in front of the heart. And this next one will meet in down dog and stay in down dog. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, step or float back through your vinyasa. We'll all meet in down dog. On the next inhale, shifting forward, coming into plank pose. On the exhale, shift back, downward facing dog. 5 more. Inhale, let the breath guide the movement, coming into a good plank and floating back. So not rushing through it from it. Last 2. And we'll all meet in downward facing dog, taking 2 more breaths. Feeling the sits bones reach up as the hands push against the mat. And bend your knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, chair pose. Hold here, 4 more breaths. Sinking the sits bones a little deeper. If we look down, we can see our toes. The knees are shifted back. Last 2 breaths. And on the exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, float back or step back into plank. From down dog, bringing the right knee into the nose, lowering the back foot at a 45-degree angle, warrior 1. Shoulders over the hips, one full round of breath. And on the exhale, lower down. Go through your flow, either step back or we'll meet in down dog. From down dog, reaching the left knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands as smoothly as possible. Warrior one on the left side. Belly button in and up. We're not splurging the ribs out. And lower down. Step back either into plank or down dog. And we'll all meet in downward facing dog. 2 breaths. So as we begin to come into this more dynamic part, remember to breathe. And bend your knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Utkatasana, chair pose. Hands in front of the heart, lengthening the legs. One more round of Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, arms up. And bending the knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Just one round of breath this time. Inhale and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. On the exhale, place the hands next to the feet. Step or float back through your vinyasa. Remember, if you want to skip them, you can skip them, but you can also place your knees on the mat once those vinyasas begin to become a little sloppy. And bringing the right knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands, warrior one. Inhale and lower down. Float back. Bringing the left knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands, warrior one on the left side. And lower the hands down. Float back, meeting in down dog. Two breaths in your down dog. And bend your knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward, coming back through Utkatasana, chair pose. Inhale, and lengthen the legs, bringing the hands in front of the heart. We're gonna meet in down dog, so floating back, we'll meet in down dog. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, step or float back. Meeting in downward facing dog. Once again, shifting forward back into plank pose. A little bit of core work. We're going to lower onto our forearms. Lowering one hand at a time. Hold here, forearms, for 2 rounds of breath. And lift back up, plank pose. Bringing the weight towards your right hand, coming to the outer edge of the right foot, coming into Vashisthasana. Your version of Vashisthasana, you can do it supported, feet one in front of the other, or feet stacked. Wherever you are, push the hips up, hips are stacked, and lower the left hand down, coming back through your plank pose. Once again, lower onto forearm plank. Hold here, 2 breaths. Don't let the hips sink. And come back up, plank pose. Coming onto the left hand, outer edge of the left foot, coming into your side plank. Making sure the hips are stacked. Inhale, and coming back through plank pose, downward facing dog. Take a breath here. And shift back forward, plank pose. Lowering into forearm plank. This time we're going to come into side plank on our forearms. So I'm going to do it on my left side so you guys can see. You'll start with the right side. Coming onto the edge of the right foot. Placing the hand to look parallel to the front of the mat. Pushing the hips up, reaching the arm up. If it's too much, you can always support it with the top leg or the bottom. Hold here. One more breath. And come back through center, forearm plank. Lift up, plank pose. Lower back down, forearm plank. Coming onto the edge of the left foot. Forearm of the left arm. Either arm stretching up or on the hip. Lift the hips up for 2. 1, coming back through forearm plank. Lifting up, plank pose. Downward facing dog. Inhale, reaching the right leg up towards the ceiling. Bringing the knee towards the right elbow. Hold. And lengthen back. Reaching the knee towards the left elbow. Hold, crossing the leg. Lifting the hips and lengthen. Reaching the right knee towards the nose and as smoothly as possible, placing the foot between your hands. Lifting up, warrior 1, placing the back heel down. Hold here. Making sure that the left hip bone is trying to face forward. It's not going to completely close, but it's as if it wanted to completely close. And open up, warrior 2. Holding here, belly button in and up. Shoulders over the hips. And walk the left hand along the left leg. Reverse the warrior, lengthening the right side of the body. And windmill your hands down. Go through your vinyasa or just step it back into down dog. I know we've done a lot of these, but the more heat we create, the more rewarding the yin part will be. And now lifting the left leg up, bringing the left knee towards the left elbow. Lift the leg, don't let it drop, and lengthen back. Left knee towards the right elbow. Lift, and lengthen. Left knee into the nose, placing the foot as smoothly as possible between your hands. Warrior 1. The hips are lifting, so the crest of the hips want to look up, not forward. Reaching the arms up, hold. And open up, warrior 2. If I were to press against your hands, your upper back would be strong and you'd be able to resist me pressing against your hands. And now reverse the warrior, walking the right hand along the right leg. Inhale. And windmill your hands down. Stepping back, plank pose. Either shift up into down dog or go through your vinyasa. Making sure you're not sinking your shoulders in through the chaturanga. Once again, bringing the right knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands as smoothly as possible. Rolling the back heel down, this time for warrior 2. Opening the arms along the legs, coming into your warrior 2. In a dynamic way, we're going to lengthen everything up towards the ceiling. On the inhale, lengthen the legs, reach the arms up. Exhale, warrior 2. 2 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, warrior 2. Last one. Meeting in warrior 2, hold for 1. And lengthen the front leg, dropping the arms. We're going to bring the back leg just a little closer so we can really lengthen the torso. Lengthening the torso forward, reaching the right arm forward, lower the right hand down, reaching the left arm up, Trikonasana. It's as if the whole torso wants to face the left side of the mat. Quads are lifting. And coming back through center, warrior 2. Windmill your hands down, go through your vinyasa. We'll meet in down dog. Placing the left foot between your hands as smoothly as possible. Warrior 2 on the left side. On the inhale, reaching the arms up, lengthening the front leg. Exhale, lower down. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Warrior 2. Hold for 2. 1. And lengthen the front leg, releasing the arms, bringing the back foot a little closer. Opening your arms along the legs, reaching the left arm forward. Remembering for the quad to lift. The left leg is engaged. It's not just jamming into the joints. Pressing the left hand against the leg to open the torso a little deeper. And lift all the way back up, warrior 2. Windmilling your hands down. Step back, plank pose. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. We're almost there. Inhale, and on the exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, fold forward, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. That was it for the vinyasas, so that's a lot. We're gonna bring the left knee into the chest. As we bring the knee into the chest, we're gonna release the knee, not letting it drop. Bringing your hands in front of your heart or next to your ears. You're gonna push the left heel back, coming into warrior 3. Hold. Back foot is looking down. Maybe the standing leg is slightly bent. And coming back through center, bringing the left knee into the chest once again. Releasing the knee without letting it drop. We're going to push through the left heel, lengthening the left leg forward. Don't let it drop. Hold. And you're going to open the foot to the side, rotating the femur bone to open. Bringing the foot inside of the right thigh. Vrksasana, tree pose. Making sure both hip bones are facing forward. And lengthen the arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe the palms of the hands touch. Hold here. Squeezing everything into the midline. And at the same time, feeling that yin. And release down. Other side. Bringing the right knee into the chest this time. When we bring it in, let's make sure to not tilt the torso back. The shoulders are over the hips, the knee is in towards the chest. Releasing the knee, hands either in front of the heart or next to the ears. And we're going to push the right heel back, coming into warrior 3. The back toes are facing down. Both hip bones are facing down. Crown of the head lengthens. Hold. Outer hips are stable, pulling in towards the midline. And come back through center, reaching the right knee into the chest. For a second, assisting it with your hands and releasing it without letting the knee drop. Lengthening the right leg forward. Don't let the leg drop. Pushing through the heel. Opening the leg out to the right side. Bringing the bottom of the feet inside of the left thigh. Vrksasana, tree pose. Outer hips are squeezing in towards the midline, and we reach our arms up towards the ceiling. Inhale. And release everything down towards the mat. Either coming onto your tiptoes or not. We're going to slowly, with control, come all the way down into a kneeling position. Slowly lowering all the way down, coming into Navasana as you press your sits bones onto the ground, lifting the shins up. If when you do this, your low back rounds, then maybe you're gonna assist yourself behind your knees, maybe lowering your shins a little. Prioritizing a long back, arms long, and maybe if this is easy, you can try lengthening the legs, coming into full Navasana. And release down. So now we're going to come through a couple dynamic core exercises before we begin the nice earthy yin poses. So from Navasana, we're going to inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to cross the ankles, pressing the hands against the mat, trying to push yourself up behind you. You might not be able to lift yourself up, but that rounding of the back and pulling of the belly button is going to do the core work. So it doesn't matter if you can't lift yourself off. And you'll come back through Navasana. We're going to do that 6 times. So pressing the hands, scooping the belly button, reaching back, and come back through Navasana. 5 more. Rounding the upper back. Do it at your own pace. The intention is what counts. Last 2. You should feel all that core burning. And Navasana, releasing everything onto the mat. Okay, now for the good yin part. Crossing your feet, placing your hands in front of you, we'll meet in downward facing dog. From down dog, just briefly from here, you're going to come into pigeon pose, bringing the right shin towards the front of the mat, opening the right hip, lengthening the left leg back. If you have props at home, it's nice to prop up the right glute, maybe if it's not reaching the ground, and maybe using a bolster to hug as you fold forward. If not, no worries. You can improvise your props, or you can just do without by folding over, releasing everything. If your torso doesn't reach the ground, it's fine, but try to keep the weight heavy without doing much effort to prop yourself up. Yin poses are characterized by their passive long holds and effortlessness. So just feel the weight of the body, trying not to tense, balancing out all the fire that we just built. Coming into these deeper, more meditative poses. And if this is what you struggle with, these long holds, more meditative poses, try to make this a challenge. As you release down and bring a little bit more yin into your life, a little bit more grounding, inwardness, if that's a word, meditative state towards your life. A way I like to describe yin poses is to find the shavasana qualities. So coming into these deep stretches through a complete relaxed, passive way. And lifting all the way back up, swinging the back leg forward. Try to keep that yin state through the transitions. taking the torso over towards the left leg and melting over the left leg. Again, with little effort, I mean. Remembering that sometimes what we resist the most, or what we feel most discomfort in, can be what we need the most. Sometimes those people always tell me, oh no, I'm not a yoga person because I can't stay in these passive long poses, or it's too slow. Well, maybe that's exactly why you need it. Although there are all types of yoga, but maybe that is exactly the style of yoga you need. As we hold the pose a little longer, try not to tense up, as it will be counteractive to the long hold, the opening of the back of the leg. And coming back up. You're going to take the right leg over the left and either staying here in this half Gomukhasana or coming into a full Gomukhasana, drawing the left heel towards the outer glute, and again folding over. In all these forward folds, if you do have a bolster or a pillow, many pillows, you can always hug them over to comfort you and bring the floor towards you. Relaxing here. Trying not to fidget or wiggle, but staying present with the stillness and seeing what arises through the stillness and the opening as time passes. And coming all the way back up. Keeping the legs as they are, taking the left hand out towards the left hip, reaching the right arm towards the left, just gently holding here for a brief moment. If you can place your forearm, place the forearm. Relaxing the head. Maybe if it's too much to have the arm straight, you can just bend it and kind of take it over the head. And come back through center. Keeping the legs sort of as they are. We're going to just open the legs a little, keeping the right over the left, coming into double pigeon. Bringing the right heel over the left knee. The more you stack it, the more you'll feel it where in the outer hips. So sort of being a little bit of a perfectionist of where the feet are and the knees. So the knee over the heel, heel over knee. If this is too much, you can either do it with one leg, or you can prop yourself up sitting into a block, or coming into single pigeon pose, which we already did. From here, you can either stay here, which for many it can be enough, or you can fold over. Again, that same quality that we've been having in the forward folds of heaviness all through the upper body. Staying still. If it's really hard to stay still, find an anchor. A very common anchor through meditation and any meditative state is the breath. So you can focus on the inhales and exhales. And coming all the way back up if you were folding over. Just briefly coming into down dog to prepare for the other side. Gently. And bringing the left shin forward. Pigeon pose on the left side. Lengthening the right leg back. Trying for both hips to face forward. And sometimes it's hard not having a pillow to prop ourselves up. So it's okay if it sort of splurges out. We don't want to over activate any muscles as we relax in this pose. So if it sort of opens, that's fine. And fold forward, releasing everything here. Trying not to resist the pose, but staying present with it. And maybe observing, getting curious instead of sort of resisting and fighting the hesitation. Get curious with the hesitation. Don't push it away. Sort of dig a little deeper and try to see why so much hesitation from staying still. From these deep openings. And coming all the way back up, swinging the right leg forward to Janu Shirshasana legs. So the leg inside of the right, the foot inside of the right, and folding over the right leg. This is a deep stretch for many. The hamstrings tend to be tight. So you don't have to push yourself down to get any further. Just the fact of holding the posture and relaxing into it will release the tightness of the muscle and create the opening. We don't need to push into it to open. And back to what I was saying before about resisting or fighting off the resistance or the hesitation. Meditation teaches that we don't fight or try to control those thoughts. We try to get curious and see them with a more open mindset of what it's trying to tell us. Instead of getting into this back and forth of why am I resisting or trying to fight it off, and which creates more tense energy in the mind. We just try to look at it with curiosity, dig a little deeper and see what and why is happening. And coming all the way back up. Taking the left knee over the right, stacking the knees, either staying here in this half Gomukhasana or full Gomukhasana legs, bringing the heels towards the outer hips, knees stacked. If our knees are very propped up and we feel very tight, we might just want to lengthen the bottom leg. And again, folding over, surrendering. Sort of asking ourselves, if we resist these long postures, is it because this is what's happening in our real life, out of the mat? Do we resist downtime or passive energies, or the opposite? Do we dwell in it, and sometimes it's hard to get going? And where can we bring any of these two energies into our lives? Because maybe in some things we have more of one rather than the other, and in other things we have the other one more than the other. These two qualities are present in all of our aspects of life. And coming back up, gently shifting the legs so we bring the left heel over the right knee, knee over heel, double pigeon, whatever version you did of this, and folding over or staying upright. If you're staying upright, you can sort of find this meditative place where you close your eyes, relaxing the shoulders, the sides of the neck. And slowly lifting back up. Gently coming onto our bellies. Bringing our forearms onto the mat, elbows in towards our low ribs. Coming into a yin sphinx pose, so relaxing the head and the sides of the neck. Slowly lowering down onto the mat, pushing yourself back into a child's pose, either knees wide apart or together, arms long or by your side, just releasing here. If this is too much, you can always grab a pillow to hug and lift a little bit of the weight off of the legs. Yin poses are usually held from 3 to 7 minutes. We've usually held them a little shorter because I know that it's hard to stay still in these poses. For me, Yin is one of the most enriching practices. And there are classes where you'll spend 1 hour doing 6 poses or 8 poses. But it is very hard for people in today's rhythm and pace of life to do these classes. So I've found that Yin Yang, where you really work, get your fire going to then release, seems to be a better way to reach out to people. And slowly you're going to shift forward, coming onto your belly once again. And you're going to come to the edge of the right side of the body. Either placing the form, if you have a pillow, you can place a pillow, or placing the hand. You can support yourself with the foot behind. I want you to feel the opening all through the ribs and side of the body. We're going to hold this one a little shorter, as I know that there's a bit of activity and it's not as comfortable to hold if you don't have the props. But opening the side of the body. And back through center, other side. Coming onto the left side, supporting yourself with the foot if needed, either on your hand for a little deeper stretch or on your forearm, whatever feels right, and trying to relax the neck as much as possible. And coming back onto the ground, this time coming onto your backs. Bringing both knees into your chest. Letting the knees fall over towards the right as you look over towards the left. Releasing here. And coming back through center, releasing the knees over towards the left, looking towards the right. Coming back through center, lengthening the legs out towards the front of the mat, arms next to the torso. Finding your way into Shavasana, letting the body melt onto the mat. Feel free to take as long of a Shavasana as you can. I will leave you here. Namaste.